What's up, guys? I'm Seismic10. Welcome to a kind of part 2 of the Chrono Kayle comp guide. This is a game from earlier today. There's 6 of us master players, 2 diamonds. I think it's a good example of how to play the Chrono Kayle comp. The amazing thing about this comp is that almost every game you end up in positions that you've never been in before. And sometimes you pull in synergies that you don't usually put in. It's part of why the comp is so fun and that it can be so flexible. So I start with a rod here. I like rod a lot because it makes a lot of very good Kayle items. It's not the most popular start, which is nice for me because it's usually very uncontested. Get him Fiora. Alright, got some gold start. I get a Jace here. So most 3-cost units that I would get there, I'd usually sell to be able to buy more 1-costs. Try to get some 2-star 1-cost units. Jace, however, is so good early. For one, he often gives you a 2 Vanguard synergy, and he actually does a lot of damage. His damage isn't that good late game. I mean, it's still decent, I guess, but early game, when all these 1-costs, except maybe Xayah, and there's a few exceptions, but when most teams don't have a lot of damage, Jace, even without items, gives you a decent amount of damage and a lot of survivability. So I think in some cases, I prefer to have a Jace than a 2-star 1-cost. So in this case, I keep Jace. I'm trying to collect 2-cost, pairs of 1-cost units, so that I can hopefully make some 2-stars, try to get some strong early teams out for stage 2. So I put Jace on the board because I know I'm keeping Jace. Put the 2 Leonas out there because I also want to keep them. I want to play something like Jace plus Leona as 2 Vanguards and then some kind of damage. I was too slow there to buy that last unit. Gotta work on my mouse speed. So I have 2 Graves, 2 Leonas, 2 Twisted Fates, 2 Kazakhs. I'm stuck with 1,000,000 pairs. It would be... There's only 9 gold on the bench, and even if there is 10 gold, I find that it's worth it to not sell there. Because if you don't get any 2-costs, any 2-stars, I mean, early on, you can be at 50 health so soon. You gotta find some 2-stars. You gotta field at least a reasonable early team. So, lost to Red Buff Lucian, 2-star Malphite. Pretty strong team. No shame in that. Okay, so I finally connect on Kazakhs. And I also have 2 Ziggs in the shop, so it's possible to make both of those. Let's see what I do. Part of the consideration is what items go on who. Ziggs is very good with AP, so I put the rod on Ziggs. Now that I have some strong units, I find that it's worth to level up, go ahead and play my other 2-star. Should make a big difference in whatever fight I get into. See right there, Jace does a good bit of damage. And takes a lot of damage as well. I could have combined the rods and made Rabadons. It's a okay kill item, but I'm being greedy here. I'd prefer to try to find a bow, try to make a Ginsu's Rage Blade, and since I don't want to sell my Jace anyway, I'm fine with being greedy item-wise. And I don't have the strongest team ever for 2-3, but it's strong enough that I should at least be able to kill some units, maybe get some wins, keep my health up. So here, my Ziggs gets absolutely blitzed. Not like blitzcranked, but like, you know, attacked very quickly, dies very quickly, not good. I'm gonna sell those units. I would like to have won and kept my Leona, try to get 2-star Leona. But I'd say 80% of the time, maybe even 90%, I want that 10 gold going into Carousel 2-4. If you don't make that, I find that often you just fall too far behind on your economy. Okay, so I have another rod. I think that I liked that it was on a 3 cost, so that gets me 3 gold. It makes good kill items, and I can make Rabadons on Ziggs. Should carry me for a few rounds. Really strong item on him. I'm not on a win streak, but it's only 4 gold to level. I like the 2 Vanguard in front, but because Kha'Zix's an infiltrator, it leaves Ziggs open to take a lot of damage from other infiltrators, from Blitzcrank. So if I could go back, I would put Poppy in the bottom right corner, protect Ziggs from a lot of that damage. In this case, it did not matter. Ziggs is smurfing, Ziggs is safe, I get the win. My health is reasonably good. I'm a little bit broke, but you know, it's not... The game's ahead of us. The game is ahead of us. If I was at 70 HP, my like projected placement in the lobby would be so much lower. It's so important to preserve health in the opening rounds. It's important to have a team that's good enough that you don't just get creamed. Even if you have to sacrifice economy, you gotta get something out there that has some chance of surviving. Because even if you get the perfect team late in the game, you may not win every round. You may miss position one time, your units may troll you. Like, it's so hard to guarantee, even with the best team you can think of, that you win every single round. So I get this win, I get to keep my Poppy pair. Instead of Poppy, I go for the Leona pair. Makes sense. Got a Jace pair, and importantly, I've got a Kayle. I've got an early Kayle. This is such a nice thing to get. So I'm considering, is Ziggs 2 better? Is Kayle 1 better? The tiebreaker there is that if I keep Ziggs on the field, you know, it does hurt my economy because I'm holding both Kayle and Ziggs. I'm like, I don't know which is better, they're probably pretty close. I'll go ahead and put Kayle in, I'll sell Ziggs. I can make hopefully 30 gold here, and I do hit some gold.
I got lucky.
And I have a Death Blade. So looking towards the endgame comp, I'll probably be playing Irelia. And Death Blade can be a good Irelia item. So So I was greedy at the start of the game. I had three single items, didn't make a full item, but I don't usually like to do that. If it's a decent item, I like to go ahead and make it. I have a 2-star Kha'Zix. Deathblade is good on Kha'Zix. Here I go, I put Leona in the back corner to protect Kayle. I put my Deathblade on Kha'Zix. Let's see how it goes. It took me a little bit too long to decide what I was going to do. I don't scout, but hopefully I can still kill a few units. Kayle trolls there and does not hit the Ezreal again. 3 units left. Okay, so I see a Malphite triple. Jace is good, especially against physical damage. But Malphite 2's just pure HP is good against magic damage. Just a good meat shield. It does not cost me econ here. I guess, yeah, since I level up, I'd only be at 37 gold without Malphite. So it's kind of a free upgrade here. My Kayle gets absolutely demolished. This is not looking good. This Kha'Zix is smurfing on me so hard. Oh, but wait! Right, my Kha'Zix smurfs on his Kha'Zix. That Deathblade gets stacked up to 150, 180, and he's just too strong. Really nice come from behind win there. Keeps me second place in the lobby. It does mean I probably get a worse carousel pick, but I'll always take a win. HP is too important. There's only a very few times that lose streaking is good. Usually you want to try to win. And if you want to lose because you're on a lose streak, you definitely want to lose by as little as possible. Taking big 5+ person losses is just a killer. It can send you from like 2nd to 7th so fast. So not a bad loss there. The first 5 enemies remaining deal 2 player damage for each enemy, and after that it's 1 player damage. With those changes, it's crucial that you kill as many units as possible. So having 2 units left alive to deal damage to me is so much better than 5 or 6. Even though I'm kind of weak right now. And by the way, maybe I should have played Ziggs for a while. He might actually be stronger here. I might have stayed more healthy. It's hard to say. But even though I'm kind of weak, I'm at least strong enough to not just get massacred. I can work on my economy, get up to 50 gold, prepare for rolling down at either 4-1 or 4-3. So putting Darius and Kassadin here gives me Mana Reaver as well as Space Pirate. They're only 1-stars though. I'm not convinced that I made the right decision. I think those units are just too weak. I think playing Jace is better. And as you can see, I'm getting absolutely demolished. It's painful to watch. I take a bunch of damage right there. Although to be fair, you know, that's a Xayah 3, near perfect items. Everybody else is 2-starred. They just rolled down evidently because I think they were at 10 gold, so understandable loss. But maybe I could have killed another few units by playing that Jace. But yeah, you just should always be thinking, how can I position better here? How can I... Speaking of positioning... Oh, okay. Kayle's okay, because Blitz can grab Darius. So reasonable positioning, we at least kill a few. We're so weak at this point. But yeah, you always gotta be thinking, who can I switch in and out? How can I play my strongest board this turn? As long as it doesn't cost you just a ton of economy, you know, you gotta be creative and think, oh yeah, playing 2 Jaces here, that's probably stronger than Darius. Although actually you might play Leona to have 2 Vanguard. But luckily here I hit Wukong. He's a member of our final comp. He can eventually give us Chrono. He gives us 2 Vanguard. He deals huge CC. So that's a no-brainer to go ahead and put him in. I'm gonna level up to 7 at 4-1. And I find a Shin. Shin is great because it gives us Chrono, and it gets us closer to 3 Blade Master. So yeah, I do pick him up here. And I also got to decide what items, because I have 5 half items here. You know, I've got to use them. If I don't use them, I'm probably gonna lose a lot of health. So I roll here, some on 4-1. Number 1 reason is that my team is so weak. If I don't roll the next 2 rounds, I could go from 60 health to like 30. It could be really bad. But while I was busy rolling, I don't position well. I don't see the Blitz plus Zephyr. My Kayle gets got. If she's better positioned, we could win this. I mean, he's strong. He's at 100 health. But it looked winnable, or at least I could have killed a few more units if I kept Kayle safe. So that's something that you should definitely look out for, positioning. But imagine if I did not roll, it would have been even worse. Irelia is great. She gives us Mana Reaver, which is important to increase the mana of the other team's carries, if possible. And she also gives us Blade Master. Makes Kayle a lot stronger. I'm trying to get full value out of this locket on Jace. And I should really put the belt on somebody like Kaisa here. It's a good thing to give her a little bit extra survivability, because I'm gonna sell her soon. At least that's the plan. And why not make her a bit stronger? Another loss. I've gone from towards the top of the lobby to towards the bottom. My mid game was just not especially strong. I didn't hit great units, but I think most importantly, I did not take the time to position as much as I would have liked. It's actually such a huge part of the game. Something that I've overlooked a lot in the past, that I'm trying to improve on. Because winning a few extra rounds each game, that'll improve your average finish. I don't know, 2-3 positions. It can move you up a lot of ranks. So with Kayle kind of in this pocket here, it's usually a pretty good safe spot. Karma is Zephyred instead of Kayle. Kayle has the time to get her ult off, start doing that huge damage. And hitting Kayle 2 on that roll down was vital. Okay, so I'm thinking, what should I get? I have a belt. My favorite defensive item on Kayle in most lobbies is Trap Claw. I just think it's such a good defensive item in general. So I can go belt, fist, makes a Trap Claw. But the thing about this pick is it also has a like auxiliary or like side benefit, because I want Lulu for my comp. So until I hit another Lulu, I can play this one. I can get Celestial in, and I can get Mystic in, which is a really nice upgrade. So I have to decide to either replace Kha'Zix or replace Kaisa. I choose Kha'Zix because I choose that because Kaisa gives Valkyrie for Kayle. It means that her attacks always crit under 40% health. I don't know if it's right. I can move that Deathblade to Irelia, but I think Kha'Zix 2 is greater than Irelia 1. We shall see. Oh, this is bad. I forget to put the Deathblade on. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking about, but it's definitely not my items. Luckily, I'm still strong enough to win, but maybe I could have won by put more damage into Rishing here. Never punished. Never punished. Okay. What am I doing here? Okay, so I definitely need to roll down. I'm trying to fill my comp out. I usually stay at 8 for a long time. This comp can get very strong at 8 when you get all your synergies and all your units in. I'm usually not in a rush to go fast 9 unless I'm just unreasonably ahead. And since I'm at 39 health, I'm 6 out of 8 place in the lobby. It would be a big grief to not use my gold here, to not try to get strong. So I roll down, I'm getting stronger, and I keep my win streak, which is huge. I have a win streak going into the creep rounds, so I'll get that bonus gold on this extra round. So I pretty much have my team complete. This is a bit different than usual because of, it's a Fawn Galaxy, it's super dense. I can play 9 units at 8, which means there's even less reason to go 9. I can play all 8 of my key units, plus an extra unit. In this case, it looks like it's going to be Jace as my 9th unit. Get that 2 Vanguard synergy. Good against some of the Zayas, Irelia in this lobby. Makes sense. I'm trying to find Misfortune to replace Kaisa. And maybe even more importantly, I'm trying to find Lulu in order to get that Trap Claw on Kayle, make her damage a lot more consistent. Keep her safe. So I move Kayle, trying to be not too predictable, trying to keep her safe. So this is really good that I'm able to Zephyr that Demos Bat Kaisa. Really, really key. By the time Kaisa's going, my Kayle's gone off, the mech is dead, and Kayle has had time to really get going. I may still lose this, but say I don't Zephyr Kaisa, and say I have Kayle somewhere that Kaisa could hit her, maybe I take 20 damage there. Maybe I'm at like 12, 15 health at 1 life. Maybe I'm looking at going 6th or 7th. That's why positioning is huge. So I'm not seeing Misfortune. I'm like, well, we're all between like 20 and 45 health. Winning these next rounds is huge. I'm gonna spend my money on Kaisa. I'll eventually get rid of her, even for a Misfortune 1, but winning now is important. I Zephyr Ezreal, which is not ideal, but my Kassadin is in a good position to stun the Jinx. Kayle is safe from Jinx long enough to go off. Kayle does not have Trap Claw, so she gets hit there. Oh, but we still win. We still win, that's really good. The level 8 power spike, in this case it's a 9 unit power spike of this comp, is really, really good. if you can hit your stuff, if you can position correctly, with this kind of final core comp, a lot of times you can beat level 9 comps at 8. Like, you do want to get to 9 when you can, but there's no reason to be in a crazy hurry, especially when you're under 40, 50 health. Karma gets grabbed, but it's okay. She still ults. She still powers up Kayle, which is big, because Kayle might have died even earlier there otherwise. That is one beefy Cho'Gath. So late game, Shroud of Stillness is absolutely overpowered. It's just like poison from last set, if you position it correctly. So as much as I want that Lulu, I want to get Trap Claw on Kayle, but I'm like, no, for the end game comp, it's just too big to have a Shroud. It's too important. I'm just gonna hope I can hit a Lulu, and go for the maximum potential here. So I think I was looking there at my team, seeing that I need one more Irelia, I need a Misfortune, and I need a Lulu. And on the last roll, I hit a Lulu. Really, really nice. I start to place the Shroud, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what my opponent looks like. I'm gonna Shroud as much as possible. But I can go ahead and Trap Claw Kayle. Shin looks like the ideal unit to place that Shroud on. It's gonna take Xayah a lot longer to get going, which is absolutely critical. I'd probably lose this fight without the Shroud. I think she got Mana Reaved on her second ult as well, which was also big. And Kayle was far enough away from Xayah not to get bursted down before she could ult. I think ideally Kassadin is on the same side as Xayah, so that if he can go off, he can stun her for multiple seconds. Since Xayah is all auto attack damage, a Kassadin stun is a complete stun. She does nothing if Kassadin hits her. Units like Misfortune can still ult even when they can't auto attack. If they take enough damage, they do their ult anyway. Oh, Kayle just dies. I'm sure I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose. Kayle died. And then I look and I see the enemy team's already dead. And top 4. This game could have been a lot worse, for sure. And look what we have here. That is the best, in my opinion, the best Kayle item. Huge hit. At this part of the game, it's all about positioning. I'm scouting the other teams. I know that I just played Blind Lied, I think that says. I just played the top guy in the lobby, so I know I'm gonna either play Andy Chin or I'm gonna play their Xing. So I'm looking at their teams, I'm trying to figure out how can I position to go for third, to go for second even in this game. So Rageblade Kayle makes a lot of sense to me. Positioning as mech and against mech is so critical. His mech does not have a QSS, so perhaps I could Zephyr the mech, but Zephyring Demo Kaisa would be huge also. So I make a blunder here. It looks like I've left Lulu too close to Karma, when Karma should be on Kayle. So that is not good. However, Kayle is in a safe spot. She is not focused down before she can ult. which means that we should be able to kill a bunch of units here. Can we even win? Rage Blade is huge, look how fast. Oh, let's go. Let's go, I win this. That Rage Blade was absolutely the difference in that fight. Also, the Trap Claw helped her get her ult off. Protected her from dying early. The 1 defensive item, 2 offensive item combo is really, really nice on Kayle. Usually, I like to put my Aurelia a bit closer to the midline. She has an attack range of 1, so I like to have her close, but she's also not that tanky, so it's good to... it's not good... See right there, she died instantly. Which means it can be dangerous to frontline her. I like to put her near Shin, because a lot of times he can protect her. Ooh. Kayle 2? Greater than... just forgot her name. Greater than Xayah 3. Kayle 2 is insane. Okay, so 4 wins in a row. What was once a struggle of a game has really turned around. Let's see what can be done. That mech player is so strong. If he gets his infiltrators onto my Kayle, I'm gone. Like, I take at least 20 damage. I might take 30 damage. I might not kill a unit if my Kayle dies instantly. So I should really be scouting up till the last moment to see where his infiltrators are at. I probably get lucky here that I'm facing the Jinx player. It's hard for him to access my Kayle very much. She starts going insane. Aurelia's been a pretty good carry this game as well. You see that Death Blade up to 180. Top 3. Top 3, baby. There's not just a great item here. I go for Runins because Runin Deathblade is a good combo because you can get an assist off of that extra line of damage that you do, and you can stack your Deathblade faster, as well as you can deal damage. If Aurelia gets a super high attack damage after killing 5, 6, 7, 8 people, then even the Runin's Bolt can do a ton of damage. So it's synergistic. Looking back, I might go red buff. I might try to... I still can't hit Misfortune for whatever reason. But if I did hit Misfortune, I can play 2 Blaster, I can play red buff, which would be really good against Xayah. The Celestial healing there on Xayah is just insane. So it definitely would have been a good thing to get red buff in there. Oh no! Xayah is too strong. Red buff would have won. Red buff would have won. So I'm trying to hit Misfortune. I want to get that Kaisa out of here. She's been in there far too long. There's a Kayle. And I kind of give up on Misfortune. Jinx by herself is not that good. Shogath is tanky. His ult can be huge if it hits. So I get the Shroud onto Misfortune, but it could have been better. It would have been much better, I think, to hit Gangplank because he just kills my whole team. At this point, Blind Eye is super strong. Misfortune 2 with double upgrades, huge Gangplank. It's going to be hard to win that fight. They were just too far ahead. I would have had to position really well. But luckily, I still get second in that game.